Hello and welcome to a new episode on Sadhana World Foundation. As usual, we will pick up an experience from our day-to-day lives and see the linkage with the ancient texts that are left behind for all of us to reflect, learn, and adapt in our own lives. Today we will speak about tragedies. Why do tragedies come? They come very randomly. In any tragedy that we can think of, there is a loss of life, loss of property, and various other troubles that people go through due to any tragedy. The air crash, which happened just a few days ago in Ahmedabad, is in my mind. More than 250 people have passed away in one of the most horrific ways that one can think of. Dreams are shattered, families are wiped out, and of course, there is a huge loss of property as well. There is a huge loss of reputation for organizations. It has spread a certain degree of unknown fear in people's minds. So many of us are confused why it happened. Of course, the experience of the hundreds of people is unforgettable. No words can explain, no words can justify, no words can console the loss that they have gone through. What goes on their minds? All of them are naturally extremely sad, devastated. People wonder why such things have to happen to them, why it had to happen to the people who passed away. Is there any reason? Philosophers, saints, and seekers over centuries have thought of this. I don't think they have found answers to this question. Why do tragedies happen randomly and why do some people suffer? I looked at some of our ancient texts. In Stoicism, which is our Western philosophy, they say that there is no reason, no cause which can predict, which can decide, and which can alert people about a tragedy coming. They say that tragedies come, but we have no control on them. The only control that is there with us is to decide how to respond to that tragedy. It is easier said than done. Look at Buddhism. Again, the philosophy there is about dukkha, which is suffering. They say life is full of suffering. Can we accept them? Can we take them in our stride and move forward? They talk about compassion. They say that compassion will help people accept what has happened to them and they will be able to move forward. Think of Hindu mythology, Manusmriti, which talks about the concept of karma and karma phala, which is basically the doctrine of consequences. What does this mean? It means everything which happens in this world apparently is connected with a karma. This epic tells us that there is a huge arc connected between the karma phala, which is the effect, and the karma, the actions which people have taken. It is impossible for people like us to see the complete arc. They say that the only thing that you can do is to accept the events which happen in our lives and to move on with the spirit of doing the right things, doing the right duties. Think of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where Arjun is struck with a big moral dilemma and wonders whether it is worthwhile fighting the war. Then Krishna explains him that the death that you are thinking is not the end of that person. He brings out the concept of soul and body. He says that bodies will suffer, bodies will disappear, but the soul remains indestructible. And hence, when death appears or a loss appears in our life, that's not the end of our life. There is a lot more which has to happen, and hence we must not lose faith in that long arc, the doctrine of consequences. It's easier said than done. Whether it is Stoicism, Buddhism, or Manusmriti, or Srimad Bhagavad Gita, most probably all of them are pointing us to the direction that there will be losses, there will be deaths, there will be inexplicable reasons. The only thing that we as humans can do is to grieve with acceptance and compassion. We have to move on. There is no point harboring the feeling of fear, feeling of anger, feeling of confusion in our minds. What has happened is absolutely horrific, gruesome, and extremely saddening. Our hearts, our thoughts are and must be with the people who are gone and the families and relatives who have lost those dear ones from their lives. However, the point is how well we can accept it. Can we be aware of the suffering which all of us have to go through and take that in our stride? Again, ladies and gentlemen, my dear children, it's easier to say this, very, very hard to practice it. But the fact is, during our lifetime, we all will go through various kind of losses, various kind of tragedies. May all of us have that equanimity. May all of us have that balance to really take it in our stride, stay strong to be able to deal with such a huge tragedy in our lives. Thank you for thinking about this, and thank you for discussing this with many other people that you care about. Let's meet again in our future conversations.